Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Mr. Four Stroke back with another video from Bangalore. And I presume you must have seen my video where I talk about the 10 things which I hate about my motorcycle. But since this motorcycle has more positives than the negatives, it has more good things than the bad things. So here are 10 things which I like about this motorcycle and things which makes this motorcycle an absolute killer of a deal. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.
Okay, starting off with the 10 things which I like about this motorcycle, which makes this motorcycle an absolute killer of a deal, an absolute sweet purchase, a sweet deal. Starting off with the list, the first point I have is that this bike's engine, the power figures might not seem much to you in papers. It's just 17 PS of power and 15 Newton meters of torque, but when you crack open the throttle, the immense torque output and the power delivery the engine unleashes and at will simply leave you speechless. And it really lives up to its name of the RTR, which stands for Racing Throttle Response. The second thing I like about this bike is the daytime running lights, the DRLs, which look absolutely menacing, beast-like, and they serve the purpose for what they are made for. Let me show you the DRLs. 1 second. I'll turn on the ignition. Here it is. You see the white DRLs, they look absolutely menacing, man. I mean, look at it, and they look like it's a predator ready to pounce upon its prey, and it might scare the people who look at it in the rear view mirror. So that's something which looks really menacing, and they serve the purpose over they're made for as well. They illuminate the bike pretty well in the day as well as in the night, and they really serve the purpose of making this bike visible to the oncoming traffic. So good job, TVS. You made this bike look all the more better from the front, adding these daytime running lights which look absolutely menacing. Okay, off to the third thing which I like about this motorcycle is the 5-way adjustable rear MIG suspension. Let me show you where these are. Okay, these are the 5-way adjustable MIG rear suspensions which TVS have made, where MIG stands for the monotube inverted gas shocks. It has 5 ways adjustments, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I think it's set to the 4th most settings, which is it gets from lowest to the hardest, from 1st to 5th, lowest to the hardest. So I think it's at 4th position now. That puts it somewhere close to the hardest setting, but it's adequate for city as well. You can bump it up to 3 if you want, which is in the middle if you don't plan to take this bike on track or race track anytime soon. So that thing is the rear suspensions are absolutely mint. I mean, it has 5 adjustments. You can flick it around with a few clicks and to whichever position you want according to the riding conditions you're gonna ride in, and that's gonna make the ride quality all the more better. So good job to that TVS. I think they were the first in the segment in the Indian market to have equipped this bike with the adjustable rear suspensions, and yep, they really serve the purpose and they really enhance the ride quality of this motorcycle. Okay, off to the next, the fourth thing which I like about this motorcycle is the 16-liter massive fuel tank. Let me show you this fuel tank. It's absolutely massive. It has 16 liters worth of storage, and it has a really good amount of tank range. If you're getting a mileage of somewhere around 40 to 45, which I expect, you should get a tank range of about 720 kilometers, and that's extremely good when you're touring. And when you're touring, you get somewhere around 45 kmpl. So 720 kilometers tank range when you're touring is absolutely good, and you won't need to stop much for fuel. And also for the performance, the tarmac tearing torque this thing unleashes when you crack open the throttle. This thing gives a decent fuel economy of 40 to 42 kmpl in the city, and somewhere about 45 kilometers in the highway. That's good for TVS to have kept the maintenance of this bike pretty pocket friendly, even on the fuel front. Good job to that TVS. Okay, off to the fifth thing which I like about this motorcycle is the motorcycle's ability to be an all-rounder. I'll explain it to you what I mean by that, which means that you can take this bike on the track. Yes, of course, you can adjust the suspensions, the rear suspension. You can take this bike on track, of course, because you can bend forward even though the riding posture is not completely committed to sport riding, but you can bend forward. You can take this bike in the corners, and of course it's a street fighter. You can take this bike in the streets as well. It's meant for city riding and urban riding, of course it is. And then you can take this bike on touring as well for long distances, because people have been to Leh Ladakh on this bike, for Christ's sake. I have done pretty long touring myself. I have from Bangalore, I've been to Chennai, I've been to Coorg, I've been to Madikeri, I've been to Mysore, and also I'll be going to Goa in September, and this is March, so yeah. And I'm pretty sure this bike will be this bike won't become an hindrance at any point of time, because the build quality is something which I really like, which I'll talk about in the future point. Okay, off to the sixth thing which I like about this motorcycle is the strong and durable engine components, which I was talking about just now, that the engine components are so robust, and it really inspires your confidence of taking this bike out for long distances. I have done close to about 10,000 kilometers on this bike now, and I've had absolutely no problem with any of the engine components. The bike didn't break down even once anywhere, and I had never had any problems with the bike not starting up or this thing breaking down in the middle of nowhere when I'm somewhere in the city. I've taken this bike to a maximum one-way distance of about 300 kilometers when I went to Coorg, so I had never had any problem at all. I stopped every 100 kilometers for a break, and this thing pretty well kept with me, and it didn't had any problem at all. So you can take this bike out anywhere you want, and you'll never have any problems as long as you give the bike its required brakes. Okay, what can I say about the next point which I like about this motorcycle? Oh yes, of course, this bike comes equipped with ABS, which is the anti-lock braking system. Let me show you the front ABS disc. This is the front ABS disc, which is covered inside this black disc kind of thing, which is a cover for the ABS disc. It's not visible in the front. This bike comes equipped with ABS, with RLP, which stands for rear wheel lockup protection. So under panic braking and hard downshifting, the rear wheel won't hop up and the bike won't fishtail at all. So, and since this bike has ABS, when you find yourself in a pinch, you can jam on the brakes and the wheels won't lock up. So you always have the safety net of ABS even when you're learning how to ride this bike. But this is definitely not a bike which you want to learn to ride on. So, but it's still a good feature. So, and I think pricing it at a point where it's completely accessible is something TVS have done extremely well. I think this was the first Indian manufacturer company to have equipped a bike with the ABS technology under such an affordable price range. I got this bike on road at a price of about 1,07,000, so that was pretty good. Okay, coming on to the next one which I like about this motorcycle is, the bike is not overpriced, and maintenance is quite pocket friendly, as I was saying just now. The bike itself costs on road about 1,07,000 in Bangalore. Not sure about now. I bought this back in 2015, but even including the major price hike, the minor price hike which the companies might have added right now, this might cost you somewhere around 1,10,000 if you're buying the model with the ABS, and I think that's pretty sweet, considering that it gets the technologies which many bikes don't even have, like ABS with RLP, and the DRLs which look so menacing, the 16 liters massive fuel tank and everything. So that's something TVS have definitely done well at pricing this bike at just 1 lakh, close to 1 lakh in the ABS variant. And also the maintenance front, each free servicing will cost you somewhere around 500 to 1,000, and each paid servicing will cost you somewhere around 1000 to 1500 or maximum of 2000, and that's pretty cheap considering you have to service this bike only once in 3 or 4 months. So spending around 2000 or 1800 rupees every time you service this bike once in a 4 months, 3 months, that's a price I can live with. Okay, coming on to the ninth point which I like about this motorcycle is the multifunctional display, which shows you pretty much everything there is in this motorcycle. Let me turn on the ignition and show it to you. The dashboard pretty much shows you everything there is in this motorcycle. This is the ABS light which is flashing right now. Above that is the low battery indicator. Above that is the spanner wrench, which is a service reminder. It will glow up when the bike is in desperate need of a service. And above that is the low fuel indicator. Now this thing gets a part digital, part analog instrument cluster. This is the digital one which has the information about the odometer. This is the clock, this is the fuel gauge, this is the speedometer, and the analog tachometer shows you the RPM band of the bike. And setting the modes, there are 2 buttons which has, this is the trip 1, this is the trip 2, this is the top speed recorder. This thing even records the top speed for your motorcycle which you have taken. Yes, I have taken this to 133 kilometers an hour. This is the 0 to 60 timer. I have no idea why it's showing 8.9 seconds. Well, it's fine, I've never tried 0 to 60 fast timing anyway in this bike, so it's fine. I won't be surprised if the instrument cluster even tells you the number of the next lottery, because that's the load of information it carries. Off to the next thing is the 10th thing which I like about this motorcycle is the exhaust note, the sweet sounding exhaust note of this motorcycle, which carries that bass. It has that thump which is very ear pleasing. The 10th thing, which also includes the tires this bike comes equipped with. So these have tires which were specially designed for this bike by the TVS itself. These are the Remora tires which comes equipped with all the Apache models and were designed specially by TVS for this bike, for all the Apache models. Not sure if it comes in 160, but yeah, it does come in 180. And I have done close to 10,000 kilometers on this bike, and these tires still have more than half the life left in them. I'm pretty sure I can take these tires for another 10,000 kilometers before I need to change this. And also these tires, once you get them to the temperature, they have loads and loads of grip, so having less grip was never an issue at all. Once you get them to the temperature, they will give you all the grip you need to lean this bike into corners at hard sections or anywhere.
So that was it about the 10 things which I like about my motorcycle. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care, bye bye, over and out.